The Vancouver Canucks are facing a franchise-defining crossroads. GM Brian Johnson just confirmed Manny Malhotra is a top candidate for the head coach job. But there's a massive twist. His son Caleb is now a projected top 5 pick in this upcoming NHL draft. Is a father-son duo coming to Vancouver, or is Johnson about to make a difficult business decision? Let's break down the next move for the Vancouver Canucks. So we're going to dive into an article from our friends over at Canucks Army, and they go over just exactly what Ryan Johnson said in his media availability shortly after, breaking the news about Adam Foote being fired. This, of course, brought to us by Jeffrey Kennett. Apologies if I mispronounced your name, by the way. I believe he was one of the Botchford Project recipients this past season, and he goes on to say the Vancouver Canucks have two big decisions to make in the not-so-distant future. First, they need a new head coach. Then they'll need to decide on who they want to draft with the third overall pick at the 2026 NHL draft at the end of June, which, of course, we are now almost a month away from. Hours after relieving Adam Foote, Kevin Dean, Brett McLean, and Scott Young of their duties, GM Ryan Johnson confirmed he intends to meet with Manny Malhotra as Vancouver begins its search for a new head coach. But what if the Canucks hire Manny while Caleb Malhotra, the projected top center in next month's NHL draft, is still available at third overall? Now, Ryan Johnson was asked this directly in that media availability, and he answered both of those topics. First up, he talked about Manny Malhotra. It's hard to be ignorant of an internal candidate like Manny. He's shown his ability to develop young players, to build a connection, and win a championship with a very young group, so I'm going to sit down with him and talk about the future. But as far as his son or the draft, I'm in no position to change or make decisions based off of one or the other. There will be no sacrifice because of a father-son relationship. So basically what Ryan is saying here is that they will not base their decisions off of this. Like when it comes to Manny Malhotra and his son Caleb, they will not impact their decisions, whether that's the head coach or drafting Caleb. This whole dynamic will not affect or impact their decision. This is what Brian Johnson is saying. So he's looking at it from that perspective, which is within his right. He's fair to say that. And hey, maybe this whole, issue with, having Manny Malhotra as a coach, having his son Caleb as part of the team won't blow up in their face. Then again, it also could very well blow up in their face. But it doesn't look like Ryan Johnson is concerned about this whatsoever. He's not worried about it. And honestly, if, Caleb Malhotra is there, say, for example, Stenberg is picked by San Jose, and you see him there, you got to take the player. So, and of course, other people will have different opinions. Some will probably say Chase Reed, but for this particular argument, if Caleb Malhotra is there and, they say that it will not impact their decision, and they have at this point, so let's look into the future a little bit, they hire Manny Malhotra, it doesn't sound like they are going to not hesitate, but think twice about picking Caleb. Doesn't seem like, just the fact that they picked or that they hired Manny Malhotra as a coach, it's not going to prevent them from drafting Caleb Malhotra. Now, continuing on to the article, still the overlap between the two conversations is of course difficult to separate. Once projected as a mid-first round selection, Caleb Malhotra has steadily climbed into a top 5 discussion on several mock draft boards, which we have talked about, or I should say we've talked about 2 of them on this channel. Trust me, we have more on the way. He's also been heavily linked to the Canucks. Fueled by an 84-point OHL campaign, leading the Brantford Bulldogs to the playoffs, Malhotra established himself as one of the top two-way centers available in this year's draft class. Johnson also noted the draft rarely unfolds exactly as expected and suggested Vancouver's scouting meetings have focused on preparing for multiple scenarios rather than zeroing in on one specific player. So that kind of tells you their plan for the draft. They're not just focused on one person. They are planning for multiple scenarios because, as you mentioned, things happen at the draft. Things can unexpectedly happen. We've already kind of discussed it on this channel, talking about the potential for Stenberg dropping down to 3. Caleb could very well get drafted second, or, Chase Reed could get picked second. That would drop Ivar Stenberg down to 3rd. And heck, we've even thrown out the possible, maybe out of, not likely thing to happen, and that's even Gavin McKenna dropping from 1st. So, and this is what Johnson said. I think the best meetings are the ones that there's some contention, some debate, and that's how you get to hopefully the end result. Whether that result is Caleb Malhotra being considered the best player available at 3rd overall on June 26th, of course, remains to be seen. But after Tuesday's press conference, Vancouver finds itself embroiled in a storyline that will potentially follow the organization right through draft day. For now, though, the Canucks' focus remains on the coaching search, and we will see if that ends up being Manny Malhotra or not. I do not think this whole coach search is going to be as big as the GM search was. I don't see them talking to 15 to 20 people about the coaching job. I think this is going to be smaller. It's going to be, I guess, kind of condensed, and I don't think it's going to take nearly as long. I could definitely see them having a coach in place by the draft, so maybe about a month or so, maybe even less. We shall, of course, see. Now, that was the end of the article. I will post this link to the article in the description down below. But I also wanted to go over something else, another article. And this kind of more so relates to Ryan Johnson not being shy about his interest in Manny Malhotra. I remember seeing, I forget exactly who it was. It may have been Farhan Lalji, actually, on X, basically sending out a tweet saying, and correct me if I'm wrong if it wasn't Farhan. I just remember seeing it, glancing at it. But he basically said Ryan Johnson was not hiding, his interest in Manny. Like, he wasn't hiding it at all. He was very complimentary of Manny, which, of course, he worked closely with him. So obviously he's going to be complimentary of him. And he basically was like, he wasn't hiding, the fact that he likes Manny and he could be his guy. But we're going to skip over some of the stuff. This article written by Dylan Nazareth. I will leave a link to this article in the description down below as well. But I wanted to specifically look at this part because Ryan Johnson was, of course, asked about Malhotra. And, of course, Johnson was very candid in saying he's planning to speak to Manny, which we already discussed in the previous article. So let me just skip down here. Now, this part was intriguing, this part right here. Johnson wouldn't specifically say whether other candidates will be interviewed, but he did reiterate a few times that he would speak with Malhotra before beginning the process. So he's going to speak to Manny Malhotra first. He's going to be his first conversation, and then he'll see, where Manny's head is at, what Manny is thinking, if Manny even wants the job. I know that has been thrown out there as well. And this is what Ryan Johnson said. I don't think I've got an expectation of how big that net needs to be cast. Like I said, I don't want to be ignorant to say I'm not going to have a serious conversation with Manny. That's just the truth of it. I think those discussions may determine how big that net is, but I'm not ruling anything out. I've just got to go through the initial steps here. Now, this is something that he said about Manny. This is an exact quote. He, as in Manny Malhotra, showed the type of coach and person he is, not by winning a championship. It was navigating what he did last season. I believe referencing, all the injuries that Abbotsford faced, all the injuries that Vancouver faced that kind of affected Abbotsford as well. That is what he's referring to. I won't actually play the clip because I do not want to get copyrighted. But that is just something that he said. Now, given that Malhotra is under contract with the Vancouver Canucks organization, he would need to receive permission, of course, to seek a coaching role with another NHL team. And at this point, Johnson did share that no organization has reached out asking about Manny, emphasizing his, of course, desire to have the first chat with him, even if they did. And this is an exact quote. I have not heard from a team at this point. Obviously, where we are standing in our situation, I would certainly love the first conversation to be with him and intend to have that. Of course, for those of you that do not know, or may not know anything about Manny Malhotra, totally fine. But for those of you that are not Canucks fans and are not, aware of Malhotra's connection to the Canucks, and I'm not talking about Abbotsford Canucks, but the Vancouver Canucks, he, of course, played 3 seasons with the Canucks, then joined the team as a development coach following his retirement in 2016. In 2017, he was hired as an assistant coach, a position he held until joining the Toronto Maple Leafs coaching staff in 2020. In 2024, Malhotra was named the head coach of the AHL's Abbotsford Canucks, leading them to a Calder Cup in his first season. Now, this is another quote regarding the whole Caleb and Manny dynamic. This is a quote exactly from Ryan Johnson saying, as far as his son and the draft, I'm in no position to change or make decisions based off of one or the other. There will be no sacrifice because of a father-son relationship. I would say the first thing in front of me right now is to find the next head coach of this organization. That will be the priority. So he's more focused on finding the head coach than worrying about the draft right now. That is for his scout guys to deal with. But his first priority, of course, is finding that new head coach, whether as I mentioned, that is Manny Malhotra or someone from the outside. We shall see. But that is this article. I want to know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Let me know what you guys think. Who do you guys think the Canucks should hire as their next head coach? Do you guys think it should absolutely be Manny Malhotra? Is there a name that I did not mention or that is out there, like a Craig Berube, Bruce Cassidy? Or are you locked in, like me, on Manny Malhotra being the next head coach of the Vancouver Canucks? And also, what are your thoughts on the Canucks naming Manny Malhotra as their next head coach and drafting Caleb Malhotra at 3rd overall? What is your take on that? Do you guys think it would be a good idea? Do you think it would be kind of, unorthodox, maybe different? Canucks are kind of known for being different. I mean, they got co-presidents, which has never been done before. So I know they have had father-son duos in the NHL in the past, but it is very rare, I will admit. But do you think they'd pull off another unorthodox move and name Manny as the head coach and draft Caleb? Let me know down below in the comments. And of course, if you guys enjoyed this video, on your way out, you can like the video and subscribe to the Line Change for more Canucks and draft related content. You can also become a member to receive exclusive perks and members only videos, including early access to videos such as like this one. Once again, hope you guys enjoyed this. And before I sign off, a big shout out and thank you to the sponsor of this video, none other than DraftKings Sportsbook, which is of course an official sports betting partner of the NHL. The Stanley Cup playoffs are here, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, has a new customer offer. When the ice gets coldest, the best players in the world show you exactly who they are. Playoff warriors turn it up round by round, and DraftKings turns it up with them from the first round all the way to the Stanley Cup final. Bet player props, bet live from the opening faceoff to the final horn, where every moment matters. New DraftKings customers bet just $5 and you get $100 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN so you're ready for the moment. That's code THPN. Turn $5 into $100 in bonus bets instantly. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours.
97777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas, wager tax pass-through may apply in Illinois. 21 and over in most states. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. Limited time offer.
Thank you guys for watching. Once again, on your way out, you can like the video and subscribe to The Line Change. And I'll catch you guys in the next video.